Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I have to preface everything tonight and to those out in the lands beyond that I am recovering from a respiratory virus. So I am pretty much symptom-free, except for the fact that my voice sounds terrible and I will occasionally burst into an unproductive cough. But otherwise, I think everything's resolved. So if you'll be patient with me, that would be great. On the other hand, you don't have to be too patient because Dr. Nikki is here to lead much of what we're doing tonight. So I invite you to join her with the Nigun, which is where we're going to start.
Let's do the bob over Nigun again. Show you what it's like. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 again. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da da.
So as we close out the secular year 2022, I like to call this kind of the Gentile Chol Hamoed between Christmas and New Year's. It's a nice time. But in any case, always we want to find out where we stand as a community, what's been happening in our lives. And it's always a good place to come from the place of gratitude. So Tovu Vracha, what good and blessing has been happening to you? Obviously, you hear my surus in my respiratory infection, but I have something good to report. I'm hoping you do too. So let's take a look, first of all, at what we know is going on in our community. We want to, first of all, call attention to Evan and Amanda Russo. They are celebrating their anniversary this past week. I got to do their wedding, so this is wonderful for me. And as for birthdays, we have Jonah Armentor, who's turning 18, Joshua Gelman, I won't even say, Lindsay Silverman, I don't even know, Rayleigh Dittburner, and Meryl Leva, and Jacob Wisniewski, all celebrating birthdays. And so we want to wish them a mazel tov. So who has something good to report? Let me start. I always try and set the bar low. It isn't that you have to report that, so-and-so is getting married or some marvelous milestone has happened. I made this past week the best London broil. I mean, it was so good that our New Mexico guests were calling us from New Mexico asking, have you finished it yet? It's like, I don't know. They wanted us to mail it to them. It was a very nice London broil. So that was a tov that happened in the last week. That's all it takes. So I am sure almost everyone here has a good or blessing on that level that they've had in the past week. Who has something to share? Alina.
Don and I just returned from our cruise. We went on a cruise last week.
Yeah.
And we celebrated 2 nights of Hanukkah, the 7th night and the 8th night. And they had a menorah on the ship, and we celebrated with several other Jewish couples.
Outstanding.
Yes.
All right. Did you have a cruise rabbi?
No.
No. They do advertise. I get offers. Right. Yeah, no. They offer to, if you'll conduct a Seder over Passover, you'll get a free transit on the thing, that sort of thing. When I retire. So who else has a good and blessing to report? Yes, Michael.
I have lots of family visiting from Canada this week.
Outstanding. You're from Canada?
Yeah.
We had no idea. You don't look Canuck. Well, that's one. What province are you from?
Toronto.
Out of Toronto, which one of my favorite cities. I think Toronto's a wonderful city. So very good. Who else has a good and blessing happening in their lives? Nobody else. Yes.
I made some brownie cookies that everyone liked.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have to ask the question, what makes for a brownie cookie? Because a brownie is basically a cake that hasn't risen. So how does it become a cookie, and what's its consistency?
Mostly just that it's pre-portioned, so my dad can't sit and eat the whole 8x8 on
Ah, okay. No, portion control, one of the greatest gifts to mankind. That's good. Betty.
I visited my daughter and son-in-law and grandkids in Austin. Well, in Georgetown.
Yep.
My granddaughter in Austin.
Well, that's a great, wonderful thing to happen.
And I got home safe.
And you got home safely. Excellent. And yes, please.
I got my voice back.
And you got your voice back. All right. That's now I know where mine went. Anyway, I hope you feel blessed as we come into this new year, and that you feel inspired. So, we'll be lighting the candles, and it is going to be our Vice President. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Nikki. Nikki is co-hosting tonight, and she said she would light the candles. So please come on up. We're going to be on page 26. Page 26. Service number 2.
A different light shines this day, a light pure and bright. Its glow is like that of an angel's. Its brightness fills my heart completely. I shall rejoice and be glad. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Yashikla. Additional proviso, I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of singing tonight. So, but I'm going to rely on you instead. Are you prepared to do Anim Zemirot?
I am.
All right, so we're going to be doing Anim Zemirot on page 25. I seek pleasing tunes and I weave songs together, for my soul thirsts for you.
Anim zemirot v'shirim erot, ki elecha makira rog, nafshi chamda b'tzel yadecha ladako rasodecha. Sweet hymns and songs will I recite, to sing of you both day and night, of you who are my soul's delight, of you who are my soul's delight.
We continue continue now on page 27, welcoming the Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem. It brings us to confront a curious bit of angelology in that some Jews believe that angels are not part of Jewish tradition. Others object to angelology because it feels like it somehow mitigates or dismisses the oneness of God. But in fact, we have always seen God as one, but not necessarily simple. And so we praise particularly the angels, the guardians that come to us on the Sabbath with Shalom Aleichem. Page 27.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Chamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borchem LaShalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malchei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nila Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Serhem LaShalom Ma'el HaShalom Malchei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Psalm 139 on the bottom of page 28, together. O God, you have searched me, and you know me well. You understand all my thoughts and every word upon my tongue. Your presence surrounds me. You touch me with your hand. Your presence exceeds my own perception. It is a wonder beyond imagining. We continue now with Chatzi Kaddish as we transition into the service.
Yitgedal v'yitgedal Shemei Rabbah. B'yama divrach Yerutei v'yamlech mahutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chayete kol beit Yisrael. Bagala u'vizman kariv v'yimaru amen. Yeheshmei Rabba mevorach le'alam ul'almei yomaya. Yitbarach v'yishtavach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei dekudashah v'rihu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damin ran b'yama v'yimaru amen.
If able, in body or in spirit, please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed. Psalm 104. Bless the eternal, O my soul, O eternal my God, you are very great. You are clothed in glory and majesty, wrapped in light like a robe. You spread out the heavens like a tent cloth, and God sets the rafters of the high places in the waters. God makes the winds to be messengers, fiery flames to serve you. You made the deep cover the earth as a garment, the waves to stand above mountains. You make springs gush forth in torrents, and they make their way between the hills. You water the mountains from their high places, and the earth is sated from the fruit of your work. The trees of the eternal drink their fill, the cedars of Lebanon your own planting, where birds make their nest, while the stork has her home in the junipers. God made the moon to mark the seasons, the sun knows it's time to set. How manifold are your works, so eternal, in wisdom you have made them all. May the glory of the eternal endure forever, and may you rejoice in all your works. Bless the eternal, O my soul. Hallelujah. And as I sing of one God, I rejoice in the wonders of this world, and I pray for a day when all of us shall be as one.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated and join us if you're comfortable with the Via Hafta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol v'avacha uv'chol nashecha uv'chol meyodecha v'hayu hadvorim ha'eleh asher anuchi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivteka b'veitecha uv'lechteka v'aderek uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha Ushartam laot ayadecha, v'chayu latotafot b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mitutot beitecha u'visharecha, lema'an tizkaru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem Kedoshim Leochechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
When a Jew speaks a word of prayer in love and awe, the power of that word gives birth to God's glory, and the angels call out to God, "Who is like unto you?" How great is even a single word of such a prayer! It causes all the angels to sing. All worlds join with the one who serves the eternal. This is the meaning of the Micha Mocha, the one who sings a song below can arouse so many songs on high.
Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bum. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bum. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bum. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bum. Mi chamocha bo'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. No ra tehilot o sefer. No ra tehilot o sefer. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bum. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bum. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bum. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bum.
Who is like you, Adonai, among the mighty? Who is like you, awesome in praise, doing wonders? When your children saw your might at the shore of the sea, this is my God, they proclaimed. Adonai shall reign forever and ever. Hashkivenu. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up to find our hearts doing your will. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. May God spread the shelter of peace over us all. I might imagine God as a teacher or a friend, but those images like king, master, father, or mother seem too small for me now. God is the force of motion and light in the universe. God is the strength of life in our planet. God is the power moving us to do good. God is the source of love springing up within us. God is far beyond what we can comprehend. We come now to our next part of our service, tefillah. Once again, I ask, if you're able, please rise.
Adonai, Sefatati Ha'ufia, Mitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagidol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, U'mevii Gula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Utzer Mashiach Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Etzrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Yehoshia, Mekalkel Chayim v'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol v'Rakamim Rabim, Somek Noflim v'Rovei Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umakayem Emunato, Lishenei Ava, Mi'amocha v'al Gevurot, U'midom Elam, Melech Mimid U'Machayeh, U'Matzliach Yeshua, Ne'eman Natan L'chayot HaKol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol. Atah kadosh shimcha kadosh, kadoshim v'kolom lechanuch ha'sela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated, everyone, and we're going to do Yismechu v'Malachu Techar, and I apologize if I'm not going to join in.
Page 36.
Bottom of page 36.
Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shamrei, Shamrei, Shamrei Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shamrei, Shamrei, Shamrei Shabbat B'korei, Oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shavi Shabbat, Kulam Yisba'u, ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ובשבי רצית בו וקידשת שבת. חמדה ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שמרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
A prayer for acceptance. We reach for you, O God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own needs against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness where we can hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness where we will reach out to each other. And there we will find strength in silence. And with that strength, we will turn again to your service. There are times, God, when I feel alone. And yet I know in my heart that I'm never really alone. You're always there, waiting for me to speak to you of my desires, my fears, hopes, and dreams. And yet how seldom do I reach out to you to voice my gratitude for all that has been beautiful in my life, all the gifts of my life. Love, family, and friendship have come from you. But the greatest gift of all is your presence, which time and again has given me strength, hope, and courage. So in the midst of doubt and confusion, I need to know that you are beside me, not only in the prayer book, but in the depth of my being, my friend, my strength, my God. We're going to close out with Shalom Rav. We're going to take a few moments of silent meditation, and following that, we'll go Oseh Shalom.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'tov Einecha Levarech Et Amcha Yisrael B'chol Eid v'chol shah B'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Osei Shalom bin Romov, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'yakol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Osei Shalom bin Romov, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'yakol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'yakol Yisrael. 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 Ve'imru Amen.
Well, I've known for quite a while what I was going to talk to you about this evening because it's always the same thing on the very last Shabbat of the year, and that is a kind of Jewish year in review. It's usually extremely superficial, but and I had it all worked out how I was going to sort of enter into the theme. And then this morning, Robin said something interesting to me, or asked me something that as we were coming back from her rehabilitation, she said, "What do Texans mean when they say bless you?" And I'm like, well, I think it means something nice, but is there a greater context to it? And I said, well, and she said, well, someone said you're blessed. And quite frankly, at rehabilitation, after having a stroke, I'm not particularly feeling very blessed. And I said, well, maybe in that context, what they mean to say is you're fortunate. Or maybe it's kind of the equivalent of the Hebrew, Baruch Hashem, right? It doesn't matter whether your day is going well or your day is going bad. Someone says, how was your day? You say, Baruch Hashem, thank God. All right? You're just grateful of your circumstances regardless. On the other hand, if they say, bless your heart, that means something entirely different. I would say that's probably more the equivalent of the Yiddish, kist meine Tuches. But in any case, and, you just sort of have to sort it out. But really probably you are blessed is probably closest to the Yiddish equivalent, which is what we say in English, could have been worse. And I think that's probably what they meant. You had this brain injury, it could have been worse. And that's not necessarily completely comforting. Yeah, it could have been worse, but it could have been better. But I think that's really sort of a good way to sort of enter into 2022. Could have been worse. A lot of strange and uncomfortable things happened for Jews, but it could have been worse. We could say, yeah, it could be better, but given that bad things happen, we should look at it from the perspective of a lot of worse things could have happened. So let's start with some of the famous Jews of 2022. Some Jews are born to greatness. Some Jews have greatness thrust upon them. And some turn out to be neither great nor Jews in 2022. So let's start with Benjamin Netanyahu, who has returned to power in Israel yet again. In and out of the premiership more than any other politician in Israel's short history, this time he's back under the shadow of an ongoing corruption trial that explains virtually everything about his mad, desperate scramble to head a government once again. In his, I would use the word craven, effort to avoid conviction, he has cobbled together a coalition of the most deplorable collection of Israeli politicians imaginable, more unimaginable than ever before. Racists, felons, Jews who actively hate other Jews. By any standard or objective approach, it's a pretty dreadful government. He's agreeing basically in the short term to undermine the Israeli judiciary, the IDF, the police, in order to make this particular legal dodge for himself work. It's a terrible development. Could be worse. As corrupt as I regard him to be, Bibi's track record as prime minister is not bad. He's had multiple tenures, have generally been marked by domestic prosperity and foreign peace. In 15 years in and out of office, he has not involved Israel in any major or minor war. And for all of his bluster, I like to describe him as Israel's inaction hero. He's always threatening somebody, but he never actually follows through on it. And I have no idea how this disreputable hardline government will work, but I suspect he realizes it probably won't. He's a savvy enough politician to know what is possible and not possible. It might be hard to say in this case, but I will say, could be worse. Who knows? If this government lasts a year, it will be remarkable. Then there are those who have greatness thrust upon them, like the Jew Volodymyr Zelensky, a Jewish comedian elected president of Ukraine on an anti-corruption ticket for 3 years. Zelensky floundered, facing accusations of corruption in his own government. And then in February of this year, another Vladimir Putin, thrust him into greatness by invading his country. It could have been worse. I fully expected Ukraine to collapse within a week, and I thought Zelensky would either be imprisoned or dead in that same time window. But instead, He responded with greatness, coming to personify the determination and the grit of the Ukrainian people in a year fraught with exquisite irony when it comes to Jews. This diminutive, Russian-speaking Jewish lawyer, grandson of Holocaust survivors, who's never served in any military, now embodies the martial and the democratic spirit of a nation that has been infamous for hating its own Jews, whom they elected to be president. He's led Ukraine and represented its case before the world for 10 grueling, brutal months. It's strange, it's weird, but it could have been worse. And then there's George Santos, in an increasingly absurd and innate world of American and New York particular politics. This poser ran and won a congressional seat in an overwhelmingly Jewish Nassau County district by pretending to be a Jew. Layering lie upon lie, he claimed to be the grandchild of Holocaust refugees for the dubious privilege it would bestow upon him with Jewish voters. They would look at him in sympathy and say, oh, I want him to represent me. Now, as an openly gay Republican running in a predominantly Democratic election, he should have earned some kudos just for that, but he has ruined it and sullied it by the gross level of deception he has gauged in to achieve that. I can tolerate lying about what schools you went to. I can tolerate inventing jobs you never had, but to misrepresent yourself as another ethnic group and to pretend that you have at least indirectly participated in the suffering of another people is pretty appalling. But it could be worse, all right? You know, it was a good year for some Jewish candidates. Josh Shapiro won the governorship of Pennsylvania. Other Jewish candidates got into office. Other Democrats and Republicans, especially Jewish Republicans, who coddled up to ultra-right-wing influences, didn't fare so well. So it could have been worse. And so, you know, a mixed bag in terms of politics. In Jewish communal life, it's honestly been a year of contraction. A low light is that the decision of our own reform movement to close its historical rabbinical training program, my program from which I was ordained, in Cincinnati, Ohio, is a hard blow. It's a sad, terrible loss. In my opinion, it's a terrible decision. Though you probably didn't see most of the action, I fought tooth and nail against it and made myself a few enemies. It's okay. I'm on the glide path towards retirement. They can't do anything to me. But at the end of the day, after everything was fought out and all the decisions were made, it could have been worse. Reform Judaism will continue to maintain no less than 3 campuses: Jerusalem, New York, and Los Angeles. And while I think it's to the long-term detriment of Reform congregations who dwell between the coasts, I'm hoping that our movement will adapt, because we are an adaptable movement. Now, in the ever-relevant, never out-of-fashion sphere of anti-Semitism, it's been a particularly crazy year. I call it the year of celebrity Jew hatred. Billionaire and rapper Kanye Ye West, I'm not sure, I could call him Ye, but no one knows who he is. It's like Prince with a symbol, right? You know, has brought what has apparently been simmering anti-Jewish thoughts boldly into the public sphere this year and spread it to millions. Along that same lines, millionaire basketball star Kyrie Irving gave widespread publicity to a terrible, terrible anti-Semitic movie, and white racist influencers are suddenly big fans of black people, and they're amplifying this message about conspiracies with George Soros and the Rothschilds and Jewish power, and not surprisingly, the number of anti-Jewish crimes, could be worse, it's mostly vandalism, has risen this year. And of course, there was the pivotal hostage-taking at our neighborhood congregation CBI. But here too, I think it could have been worse. Kanye has been widely repudiated and suffered economically and reputationally for his behavior. Irving has apologized. Conspiracy mongers like MTG remain largely marginalized. And we got a new Jewish hero out of it all in the form of Rabbi Charlie Citron Walker, who brought that particular crisis, that moment of Jew hatred where lives were at stake, to what was effectively the best possible conclusion. And as a result, our institutions are actually this year better protected. Our allies are on alert. And I can safely say the full weight of the federal government, from the president on down, stands with us. It could be way worse than what it is. So I actually guess I love this phrase, "it could always be worse," because I find that the Jewish imagination can prove it entirely true. We always have a story from the past of something worse that has happened to us. When I say, there's been a rise in anti-Semitism in America recently, someone can stand next to me and say, well, it's not like the 1920s. And they're absolutely right. It has been worse, and it's not that bad right now. And one could accuse me of using this in a kind of way that's twisted. Am I not boosting my mood or the mood of other people with imagining misery, potentially the misery of others? Are we not just wallowing in it by saying that? While a clinical measure of mood might show an improvement, it's really not the point. The point is an act of normalization or contextualization when we say it could have been worse. This exercise helps refrain the magnitude of our concerns and complaints and simultaneously develops within us a sympathy for those who are in need. They're suffering. We acknowledge that. That it could have been worse helps us realize all the other things in life that we should be grateful for. So in the coming year, if you're upset about life or some particular aspect of it, stop for a moment and step back. Compare your situation to a diverse set of others, real and imagined. Let your Jewish imagination go wild. Think of the worst thing that could possibly be. If that's not happening right this moment, that's good. That's a good way to think about the world. Imagine not having the privilege of living in America or in Texas or at this particular time in history. You don't even have to imagine real people or real events of the past. Trust me, the dark depths of your Jewish mind will construct some truly vicious possibilities. Although there is plenty of misery in the world to draw upon, as a general rule, it's not happening to us most of the time. Enjoy your life as it currently exists. It could always be worse, I promise you. Shabbat Shalom and Happy New Year, everyone. So, who's our officer for announcements tonight?
I could do it, or Melissa.
Oh, no, the secret Bob voice. No, we want the face of Bob out here. Bob, who makes so many things happen around here. People out there especially need to see him. There he is. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So quite a few things going on right now. The CKA blood drive will be Saturday, January 7th, from noon till 4 p.m. They do ask if you'd at all possibly try to sign up ahead of time if you'd like to donate, and you can find the link on our website to sign up to do that. Every donation can help up to 3 people, so every drop counts. So if you're eligible, we really encourage you to sign up for that and help us during that blood drive. Today is the last official day of our sock and underwear drive for Tikkun Olam. Although I'm quite sure if you sneak something in this weekend, I can get it to Melissa and they'll go ahead and take it. But do try to, if you want to donate to that, to wrap that up this weekend so that we can be sure to get those distributed to everybody. The Rough Riders are offering group tickets to CKA this year, and so we went ahead and signed up for April 8th. the game with the Amarillo Sod Poodles, because who doesn't want to see a game against the Sod Poodles? It's their opening weekend, and so they've reserved a whole section for us. We've got 20 seats currently reserved, but if we can fill up more than that, they said they'll continue to hold that section for us so that we'll get our own special deal. And those tickets also come with a $10 food voucher. So if you're interested in that, again, the link to sign up for that and get your tickets is on the website. We're doing something really cool with our religious school and the kids here. And so as a unique and fun fundraiser, we're asking our youngest congregation members to design a t-shirt for CKA using the theme, "What does CKA mean to me?" We're going to choose 3 winners, one from K through 3rd, one from 4th through 8th, and then one from the high school. Each winner will receive a free t-shirt with their design on it, and then we're going to take those t-shirts and allow people to purchase them as a fundraiser for the shul itself. We think it's a really great idea, not only to encourage the kids, but also as a great way to support the shul. So be watching for that, and that's due by January 8th, and they'll pick the winner on January 8th itself. For those of you who are not aware, Tiferet Israel has been doing a Dallas Kosher Chili Cook-Off for 20 some odd years at this point. They have been on hiatus the last couple of years. They tried to pull one off last year, but I don't think it quite came together. But because of COVID, we had just put a team together for the first time in years to compete in 2020, and literally like the week before everything shut down, they had to cancel the chili cook-off. So it's our chance to do it again this year. We need to get a team together. We need at least 5 team members. If you're interested in participating, drop me an email in the office. I'm keeping a list. If we can get enough people, we'll set that up again. The actual competition is on March 19th this year, and I can get you all the details and more things like that. We just want to make sure we have enough interest before we put a team together. So I think that's it for our announcements today. So, as always, we'd like to extend a Misha Bayrock to those in need of healing. And so let me read our current list first. And the names that I have are Joyce Bloom, Natalie Bovino, Karen Brown, Sandy Cook, Mark Davis, Ben Dickerson, Nancy Inneman, Harry Inneman, Francine Feingold, Michelle Griffith, Carol Jones, Molly Kalig, John Kaufman, Deb Kaufman, Lauren Koenig, Alex Koenig, Richard Kurgan, Gianna LaMonica, Deb Ledden, Matt Levine, Phyllis Lorelli, Paxton Lucht, Paul Redwood Jr., Helen Rubel, Bruce Sari, Adrian Sandler, Dell Seaver, Happy Waterman, Karen Weinstein, Barry Weinstein, Carly Wisniewski, and Tom Wolf. Are there any other names that we can add to the Misha Bayrock list? Yes, sir.
Paul Davis, Kerry Davis, Tony Odom, Shirley Hayden, and Dawn Sachs.
Okay.
Jason Andrew Post.
Okay.
Malcolm Trevino and Rick Gallagher.
Great.
Robin Dennis and Marilyn Colton. And me.
Okay. Ready? Misha Bayrock Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Lemimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Bayrock Imotenu Makor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, I have one other announcement. It occurs to me because it's an opportunity to toot my horn. got a call over the holidays, and the Texas Council of Christians and Jews, who has an annual retreat, has forever used Rabbi Ralph Mecklenburg as their scholar in residence, and for whatever reason, Rabbi Mecklenburg couldn't do it, and so as the message came to me, we are desperate to find a Jewish scholar to substitute for him. So I am the desperation choice for a Jewish scholar in residence. And so I will be gone during the weekdays of January 9th through Thursday. What is that, 11th or something like that? So anyway, just so you know, I won't be in the office during that because I will be providing desperation scholarship to, it's... I think I want that on my resume. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you will turn to page 82. And I invite you to please rise.
Gonna pull anybody up?
Please be seated. Bayom hahu, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad. So now it's our time to mark the names and honor the memories of those individuals who are connected to our community but have died, whether it be recently or this season in years past. We begin with Shiva. We're thinking of Carol Solon Feldman, the mother of Suzanne Albin, who died this week. Is there anybody else here who lost a loved one in the last 7 days? Yes?
Madeleine's friend Dylan and Dell.
Thank you. For Shloshim, we're thinking still of Linda Chidsey, the mother of Matthew and Morgan Chidsey. Is there anybody else who's lost someone in the last month? This week, we want to remember the yard sites of these individuals: Kathy Dukar Bates, Hannah Doring, Jeremy Todd Dawsey, Lois Friedman, Laura Menario Nagorski, Mark Rubin, J. Arthur Schapp, and Josie Titelbaum. Is there anyone else who has a yard site, an anniversary of death in their family? The memory of all these people is here with us now, and we join in sympathy for those who mourn by rising together and honoring their memory by reciting Kaddish, page 85. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvdechol beit Yisrael, bagalal uvizman kariv, v'imru, amen. Yehei shma Rabbah mivorach le'olam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'ashirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran be'elma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah mim shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mroma. Hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace, who makes peace in places far beyond our understanding, make peace for those who mourn, and comfort the bereaved among us. And let us say, amen. So, and our closing song tonight is
Avinu Shalom Aleichem on page 100 at the top.
on page 100 at the top. All right, so just think of us as we wishing 2022
That's right.
shalom, goodbye, 2023 shalom, hello.
Y'all.
Y'all.
Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom Aleichem. Avinu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem.
Shabbat shalom, happy new year, everybody. So what brings you into our circuit?
So